So I have gone live, everyone. Give people a few minutes. Alrighty, so we are at 6:01, and I am happy to be here.
You're looking into the camera?
I am. I'm looking into the camera. Thank you, Dad. Thank you, everyone, for being here. My name is Jamila Benson, and I am the program director here at Wisconsin Black Historical Society. We are here tonight for Genealogy Stories with Clayborn Benson and Tiffany Miller. Thank you, Tiffany, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Um, this is a unique experience. I'm going to introduce Tiffany and then we're going to go into her story. So I'm excited and I'm happy that you've agreed to be with us today. If you don't know who Tiffany is, you've been under a rock. Tiffany Miller's heart centered purpose is to inspire people of color to bloom through creatively coaching and collaboration. Her work evolves as she gathers experiences, expertise from living in full bloom as a mother, creative coach, educator, and entrepreneur. The results of Tiffany's creativity and guidance are obvious if you talk to anyone she has worked with. From welcoming the benefits of energetic healing to discovering a personal vision to finding a way to a new career and connecting and collaborating in service to the community at large. About her life's work, Tiffany says, "This life is always moving forward, whether you're ready or not. You can either be active or resistant to forward progression. Choose to be active, choose to move forward, choose to heal, choose to dream, choose to grow, choose to evolve, choose to live and bloom." Thank you for thank you for being here. We appreciate it.
So, Tiffany, thank you very much for coming in. I wanted to share with you, since
Since
the
the
DNA
DNA
came
came out
out and
and um, people have been taking the tests and sending it in and getting lists of getting lists of their friends and relatives all over the country. I remember I was in South Carolina and I ran into a bunch of ladies all on the road going to meet descendants and family members they had just met and just signed in on their DNA on Ancestry. They had never met them before, and this was something very new to them. And so it's not unusual to see people out on the road going to meet cousins and aunts and nephews and family members they have never seen or never met. Clearly, because of our dysfunctional or our struggles as a people, we've just simply just went in different directions.
Mhm.
Out west, to the north, to the northeast. And so there's a new interest with Roots and others to come along for us to say, well, who is my people? And you took that bold move by saying, I'm going to find my people. This is my responsibility. I'm going to find those people who look like me, talk like me, walk like me, and even
Yes.
smile like me.
Yes.
And I bet you, and some of you is in them or they in you. Uh, that really takes a great deal of courage and guts to do that. So share with us what you did.
So I had time off
Can't
from work
hear.
from the 16th through the 29th. of July. And my intention,
Tiffany,
uh,
we can't hear you.
uh,
We can't hear you. Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Okay, let's see.
Um,
I mean, you muted.
No, she's not muted.
okay. Are you able to hear me?
Hold on, everybody.
Audio, audio. Okay, it's working for me.
We may need to take you out of the show and then move you back in.
Okay.
We may need to take you out and then pull you back in. So let's do that.
Okay.
In the meantime, should I talk or should we?
You can talk.
Okay, so just for the purpose of for Tiffany and others of you that are interested in this idea of doing your genealogy work, when you venture into it, when you start into it, you must organize yourself because you're going to find all kinds of information. First thing is find out what your goals and objectives are. Mine happened to be goals were to find the land where we were enslaved in South Carolina and find where we live. And I found out that we, not we, but the slave owner had a piece of land on the Catawba River in South Carolina in a little place called Liberty Hill. And I was fortunate enough to find that. But in the process, I found a bunch of other things. And so that was my ultimate goal. You need to set and have a goal as well as you start doing that. And the most important piece of doing this is have a pedigree chart and have a group sheet chart. Now, what are they? There are sheets that you write down all of the things in which you do, your correspondence information. If you find a cousin who is their husband and wife, who are their children, you put that down on a sheet so that when you come back to it, you find you attach them to whatever relative that they are belonging to. Keeping them organized is crucially important. Don't take that for granted at all. Uh, Find out full names, find out what the nicknames were, because often people use it. Are you back? Are you speaking?
I hope so. Can you hear me?
No, we just talked for 30 minutes.
I know.
Wait a minute. Okay. Go
Okay.
ahead, Tiffany.
Are you able to hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, fantastic. All
Yeah.
right.
And
Perfect.
I'm not hearing it.
So you need to turn your speaker up.
Okay. All right. Now,
Okay.
That way, turn it down just a little. Yeah.
Tiffany, can you talk?
Yes,
I
you
can
talk.
can
Oh,
y'all hear
good.
me?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes,
perfect.
perfect.
Fantastic.
Okay,
Excellent.
we got it. Good.
Okay. So so Sharon, I had time, I took time off from work, and for like July 16th, I had a flight booked to Anchorage, Alaska, um to see my friends Dasha and Kima, and because I had never been there. But I feel like some seeds have been planted on Juneteenth Day. I sat in Alice's garden. Venus had a Juneteenth Day celebration, and there was a relative there that she had never met, or this is her first time meeting her new cousin, and she was a genealogy like expert. So I'm taking this all in, and I had shared with my grandmother, my grandnonna, that I had wanted to go to Little Rock, Arkansas, before my grandnonna transitioned last year, and this was kind of after my mother had transitioned, because I had never been to her hometown of Cotton Plant, Arkansas, Little Rock, Arkansas area. So a week before I'm scheduled to take this trip to Alaska, and I have my journal open from that time period, but July 9th, that was a Friday. I believe that was a Friday. Um, I came across this poem in Morgan Harper Nicole's book, All Along You Were Blooming. But it says, more than anything, I hope you find your way home. I hope you find what speaks to your heart like nothing else in the world has spoken to you before. But take time to listen for the ever-present voice, gently whispering, I'll guide you. In all that has changed or stayed the same, you have found comfort in the voice rising above the noise. You are loved. You are loved. You are dearly, dearly loved. And you're worthy of the journey of being. You're worthy of the journey of finding home in me. Um, so I come across this, and I have this like fire in my soul to cancel this trip and hit the road to Little Rock, Arkansas. I have never driven that far. Well, I have, but I haven't driven like straight through to go down south by myself. Everybody thought it was crazy that I was going by myself. But I needed to go. I needed to know what was there for me to discover about my mother. I wanted to see the land that she grew up on. I wanted to meet. What's interesting, after my mother transitioned in December of 19, my grandmother's sister reached out. And I knew she had a few sisters here in Milwaukee, but we didn't know that she had a sister in Pine Bluff. So her name is Curly Floyd Tate.
Her name was what?
Curly, Kwurly Floyd Tate. And she is so wonderful. But she was the only relative I knew. And I had called her that Wednesday, I think, before I left, that Tuesday or Wednesday, and I told her I was coming down. And she was like, oh my goodness. Like she knew who I was. She said, you're Wanda's oldest daughter. And I said yes, and she just knew. She just knew. And she said, I need you to come and visit me in Pine Bluff. Can you come and visit me? And it's a long visit. She wanted a long visit, not a short visit. so but she was the only one I knew. The absolute only one I knew that I even thought about connecting with. But that Friday, I arrived late. Wait, say that. Put you on mute. Okay.
Yeah. How did that lead into meeting some of the other people who knew your mother?
So she gave me information for. She gave me Aunt Ladora's number. She also gave me cousin Phyllis's information. She had like an old phone number, and when I looked up cousin Phyllis, I was able to find an address for her because the phone numbers weren't working. So Saturday morning, I talked to my great aunt Curly, and she gave me cousin Phyllis's information, but she also gave me Ladora's information. Aunt Ladora is my my mother's father, so my grandfather's sister. I didn't even know she existed. But she told me about a wedding that was happening on Sunday. So
some of your relatives?
Some of my relatives that I had never met.
Okay.
But she only told me about like the name of the church, who was getting married, and that it was on Pulaski Street, Pulaska.
Okay.
That's all I had.
So did you meet some of your relatives there?
I'm gonna tell you how magical that was in a second. But I met cousin Phyllis on Saturday, and I hadn't talked to her. I drove to her house. I was hoping it was still her house. And I said, if there's a car in the driveway, I'll ring the doorbell and knock on the door. And I got there, it was, I walked up and I know you, Tiffany, you want this oldest daughter. I was just looking at grandmother's number on the refrigerator. Come on in, have a seat,
Mm.
you know. And I was over there for a few hours, just talking, and she was sharing all sorts of information and asking a lot of questions. But it was really like the whole trip was this magical unfolding of
Yeah.
connection,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody had like these humongous, like everybody had an abundance of love. um but we just talked. She gave me more names. Her brother cousin Philip, came over um to meet me too, and he was just like, I just thought about your mom a couple days ago playing the piano. And that he said Wanda is my favorite cousin, you know. So just having that, like having these pieces like come together. But the so that was Saturday. Sunday, I go try to find this wedding with just a little bit of information that Aunt Ladora gave me. And I went to the church that I thought it was at, and there was nobody there. And I traveled down the block a few more blocks and make this turn and notice this other church that didn't come up on Google or anything. And I turned around and make a U-turn, and I was like, is this Arnita's wedding? And they say, yeah. I said, okay, great. I'm in the right place. I'm about to crash this wedding. Because nobody there knows who I am.
Yeah.
Like, nobody. But I had another name. Let me see if I could find it. I did have another name of somebody who would be at the wedding. So I had Kathy Hill is a cousin of mine, but I had her name, and I was able to meet her. She introduced me to her daughters, and we ended up hanging out later. We went bowling, and so I'm meeting more cousins, and everybody has this abundance of love. It's like, who are you? Okay, I need you to meet this person, this person, this person, and I like, if I planned this,
Yeah.
there's no way I could have planned any of
Uh-huh.
this. You
You
know,
should have took pictures of all of them.
I
And
got
did
I
you?
got I got pictures on my Instagram page and
Uh,
Facebook page. So if you
uh,
go to like Tiff Blooms, Blooms on Instagram, I have some pictures from that time period and like little narratives of the story. But uh it's just kind of
did,
amazing how
did you find some similarities in the way they look, or the way you look, or where any of your other family members thread of any common threads at all?
Kathy reminded me of like my mother, uh, uh, Curly Floyd Tate, my grandmother's sister. Um,
Mm-hmm.
they have some similarities. They have the same father,
Mm-hmm.
but different mothers.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like a whole Floyd side of the family um, that Curly has. Like, she's the genealogist in the family.
Mm-hmm.
Her memory is remarkable, um, and I'm just amazed because she's like 80 something, and has so many pictures, so much documentation. 80
Mm-hmm.
something and a stroke survivor.
Okay.
So to have like full capacity of her like memory,
Mm.
it's just like I can't remember half the stuff that
Yes.
she
No.
shared with me. I had to write a lot of things down, and but she gave me like the roots of the family, of the Floyd family side that goes back to 1834.
Okay.
So, and some of these records are hard for me to find online. So for her to have this
Yeah.
documented is really beautiful. So I know who my uh, great grandfather was, along with his brothers and sisters, and um, the patriarch of that family, and how that all connects. But there's, I'm Tiffany Miller. My There's Millers on my maternal side
Hmm.
of the genealogy tree, and
Hmm.
then
Hmm.
there's this whole Miller branch
Hmm.
on my father's side. So, I'm wondering, I just have like I have a bunch of questions and stuff. Well, more like wonders, but that that Monday I was able to go sit with uh Curly and Pine Bluff for a long visit.
Hmm. Okay.
So she gave me the roots, the family tree. She sent some pictures to me. There's a book with the history of the Simmons family, and uh, how they're related to the Floyds and ultimately to me.
Hmm.
So it's huge. Like there's a meme going around about how you have a total of over like 4,000 ancestors over the last 400 years,
Hmm.
and how many great great grandparents it takes to make you.
Hmm.
So that the
That
ancestral mathematics are real. So it's just piecing those piecing those together. I'm like 4,000 people. It's 4,000. Even if I could trace back my sixth or eighth
mhm.
great great
Yeah. Mhm.
relatives, I would love to know that.
Well, the key is putting together a pedigree chart or going online. There are some software in which you can actually enter that data into, where it will all begin to make some sense to you,
Mm,
organizing it. I mean, you took up in a lot of information, but just putting it in your head is not enough. You got to
right.
put it on paper, and you got to put it in a software that will help you to manage it and pull it together. And in a lot of ways, uh, it ties into Ancestry and other family search engines to help you to find out who they are and how they're related to you. So yeah, that would
That's
be
the piece. Yeah, that's the piece I haven't explored yet. My sister just did 23andMe, and my dad has also done it. Um, and I think my dad is the only one that's done Ancestry.com. So I know those results are in there.
Mhm,
I
mhm.
just, I'll do it eventually. I want to see. I'm kind of the more curious person. I want that organic unfolding for a little bit, just to see how much information I can discover. But I know that I need more help
Yeah,
beyond what I know, because it's a lot of
it
information.
is. It's a lot, and you're not going to be able to just process it in your own head. You got to put it down somewhere, and writing it down, and then putting it into the software helps you to manage it, so that you can know who. So you'll find people with the same names. You need to put it in. I'll be happy to share. Family Tree is one of them, but there's some other roots. Roots. There is a program called Roots. I've forgotten the last of it, but there are programs that will help you to manage it, and
Okay.
that's where you need to be at this point, is managing it.
Okay.
And
Yeah, that's helpful.
I'll give you the name of that pedigree chart. That's where you get these sheets, and we have some sheets where you begin to put mother and father, children, just put it on paper, and then transfer that into the software, and then begin to build this collection of ancestors and people. Then it eventually will make sense. At the moment, it don't.
Yeah.
It
It
don't.
was interesting too along the way, because I I went to downtown Little Rock on that Tuesday, and I was just like, oh, I want to have breakfast and then just check out. I heard about the library.
Yeah.
They had like a little gift shop, so I went to I stumbled in there, and then I started seeing like some genealogy workshop
Yeah.
information.
Yeah.
I was like, what's this about?
Yeah.
And they said, oh, we have a whole genealogy department on the
That's
third
right.
floor.
That's right.
I didn't even know.
Yeah.
So like stumbling into that, and then
I bet
I
you they
was
have information there for you,
they
right there.
did. They
Yeah.
had a lot. They had names. I thought my grandfather's name was Harold, Harold, Richards with the S. And his name is Harold, Hairl, Richard with no S. But my grandmother's last name is Richards. So I'm
Okay.
like, even just knowing the spelling of
That's
names,
right. Yeah.
or or the S,
Yes.
the date of birth, I was able to find. Well, there was um, a genealogy specialist like there, and
Mhm.
she was just like, your ancestors want you to find them. I'm
Mhm.
finding so much information.
That's good. That's very good.
So it was just super beautiful. Her name is Rhonda Stewart, the genealogist at
Yeah.
the
Uh-huh.
Little Rock Library. But it's so much. I was able to find like the Air Force record from my grandfather, and where he was buried, and when he was discharged, and just some questions uh
Well,
like
again, I'm trying to think of the name. That software that I mentioned to you, they
mhm.
also have it. Fo Fo three Fo three do have military records, and if you go on Fo three, and it costs, but if you go on Fo three, you would find your ancestors, and it gives you the address where you can write in St. Louis, and they have a file on your ancestors in St.
Oh,
Louis. All of that. You can get it easily. Just write
okay.
for it.
Okay. The other, when we were talking about like the input and the data that Rhonda was sharing, that they're only at about, for the records that they have, the census records that they have, they're working in the 1950s, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not even that yet, but they're volunteers like inputting this information, trying to decipher what people wrote, so things can be found. um, some information is becoming a little more limited with like
Yeah.
the HIPAA laws and things
Yeah.
like that,
Yeah.
but there's still like a lot out there. It's just amazing how, even just knowing my great grandmother's name, because we always had like, I would hear about Big Mama, but what's
Yeah.
Big Mama's name? So, even my
That is
cousin
right. You
Phyllis,
got her obituary.
she
Okay.
gave me her obituary.
Right.
So,
So
you
now
know,
Roots Magic is the name of the software.
okay,
Roots Magic is the name of the software, and it's a software that helps you to manage the data that we're talking about. Roots Magic is very very good, uh,
okay,
and Roots Magic is it. And Fold three FEL Fold FEL FELD 3 .com helps you to find your military records,
okay,
and it costs. And um, uh, family, excuse me, ancestry. You're familiar with ancestry, and you can get on your fathers. But if you wanted to get on your own, you can go on to Family Search. Family Search is free of charge, and it's almost just as good as ancestry. It's missing some
okay,
years. Now, uh, uh, these software, online software, are based on the census data. That's what they do. You're familiar with the census data.
mm-hmm.
Every 10 years, they collect census data, and in it, they go to every home. Well, from from 1790 all the way to today, they have every 10 years gone into our families' homes and and written down all of their names. And if you're interested, and that's how most people trace their family, through using the census data,
Okay.
and uh, that's in Ancestry, and that's in the Family Tree. That's in the Family Search. Family Search you can get online easily. Family Search, simple as that. Family Search, Google it. FamilySearch.com,
Okay.
free of charge.
And I,
And
and I'm
It's
it's
sorry.
all
owned it's owned by them. It's owned by the Mormons. So when they put up this church stuff, just go past that, and you come right to it. Yes,
Okay.
yeah. Go ahead.
Also, turn your thing down, please.
okay. Well,
Also, Family Search. Can you hear me, Tiffany?
Yes.
Okay. Also, Family Search will allow you to. I don't know if you have records like Mississippi. So they show you the school records. They show your ancestors in school. So I heard you say you wanted a more organic research. So you, to me, that sounds like you're not ready to do DNA and all that kind of stuff. I haven't done that either. But what you can do is go to, so you can, let's say I search for something on Ancestry. Family Search may have it, and Ancestry may not have it.
Got
So
you.
you kind of have to juggle between, you can juggle between both of them. Of course, Ancestry costs, but Family Search is free. Like, for example, I found my grandmother in enlisting in schools from Mississippi from third grade to second grade. Her name is spelled wrong, but her and her siblings and the rest of her class are listed. Now, that's not like that in every state. Every state doesn't have that.
Okay.
I also found, like for North Carolina, some of the prison records. Every state doesn't have
Mm,
that, but I found those kind of things like looking in Family Search.
okay.
So you just kind of have to finagle around what you think you can find and um, what is useful for you, you know. But you can keep it organic. But some stuff you will have to, you may have
I
to
know I
go
have
in
to
person and get.
eventually. I want to. I definitely want to do it. But I think using some of the software like Roots Magic and going on a Family Search, that'll help me con- piece piece all of this information together. Because trying to do it on paper, it's like I got to get this off paper. And then if I get this off paper, I can build this to share with the rest of my family.
Yeah.
It was interesting. I was talking to my aunt recently, and she was like, "I could have told you a lot of what you discovered." And I said, "But I needed to take this journey. Like I needed to go. You know, cousin Philip took me to Cotton Plant and drove me around, showed me, the cemetery. I wouldn't have been able to see the cemetery. There were names coming to me that I had never heard before, but I saw their names at the cemetery. Like it that they want, my ancestors want me to know who they are. They want me to discover their story. I'm here for all of that, so I can tell it and share it with my family and share it with the rest of the world. But those are those pieces that, like, when you go on a journey like this, you won't have those experiences through the internet. You gotta go to the land. We touched a tree that that my family sat under, and I'm wondering if it's the same tree that there was a picture of my mother when she was like 5 with my grandnana and my granddad, and I'm wondering if that was the same tree. Just stuff like that. But to be able to touch that land and have like that red dust
Yes.
all on the back of my car, and in my shoes, on my shoes. I love all of it.
That's
So
your journey. You know,
yeah,
that's what you have to go through to
yeah,
turn me down, Dad. Can you turn
Okay.
it down?
Mhm.
That's what you have to go through to understand. I mean, I don't take it lightly that we truly are our ancestors' wildest dreams, you know, like the things we're able to do and the things that we're able to touch and to experience. My grandmother couldn't hardly read, but I can read anything I want, you know.
yes,
Being able to experience what she hasn't been able to experience, being able to talk to her about when she was still here, talk to her about things that she experienced, although she didn't want to share it with me. Um, it's not to be taken for granted, touching where she lived and going to see, those grave sites and seeing that truly in person is a
Mhm.
journey, and it's something that, not everybody has to do it, but it's something that's necessary for some of us to do so that we understand, because you never question anything. You don't question anything once you realize what your ancestors been through,
Mhm.
and just to get you to this point, and that's
Right.
important. That's important to understand. And I completely understand. And my grandmother sat and told me in so many words that she was trying to break the cycle, you know, and without her knowing what that term was, she said it. She coming from a mother in the 20s, she had four siblings out of wedlock. So it's like, you can't tell me she wasn't breaking the cycle, because she was. That's what she was doing. That's before it was a
Mhm.
key, the term. So to me, honoring that and knowing the struggle she went through and being able to touch the things she had, and I cleaned out her house. Everything that she had, I cherished, because she carried that from Milwaukee to Mississippi back to this. She carried those things. And I have all that stuff in my house right now, and I cherish it. And I told everybody for Christmas, everybody may get a little piece of something, but I cherish what she had, and it's not to be taken lightly. So I understand the organic approach you feel, to researching and finding, because you truly are finding part of yourself in that
Mhm.
journey. So, and I think it's
Yeah.
important. And
It's
then one
just
thing we teach here is genealogy is important.
the
So,
way in which I was received. There's this love legacy that my mother left
mhm,
us out of everything that she left, like the tangibles and what have you. She very much so left this love legacy, and I'm discovering where that came from. So I want to, a couple questions that I asked myself when I was down there is like, what do I know? What do I like want to know? And then, what does my love legacy look like? And when I got back, the work that I was required to do, like it happened immediately. The personal work to answer that question would hit me in the face. So that, that's a whole another, when you take these journeys, to learn more about yourself, your past, your ancestors, they gonna call you to do the work that you need to do, to honor their legacy 100%. So
that's something you understand,
I
Clayborn.
do very much so. I did what you're doing right now. I did the same thing, so I too understand that very much so. Wish you much luck in your effort to pull it all together.
thank you.
Takes
I'm gonna be
time.
coming to see you.
All right, not a problem. No problem. Well, thank you. Are we done now, Jamila?
Yes, we are. If
Okay.
Tiffany didn't have any questions for you, Claiborne, what I do want you to talk about is what we've added to our website for genealogy and then we can close out. So if you talk a little bit about that and the obituaries that.
Oh, yes. So we've got some 5,000 obituaries and collecting more and more for people to check on. And I wanted to say in my final remarks, names are everything, and you pointed that out very clearly, Tiffany. People adding S's and taking S's off. People migrating to other parts of the country and changing their names. Where people were born at, their parents, their brothers and sisters are all important, and that's all kept on the pedigree chart and the charting. Correspondence, all letters, all emails should be saved because there's data inside there. Oral history, interviewing people, family members, even if it's just a tape recorder, it's very important. And vital statistics, people seem to think that that's not important. I assure you, the state usually maintain vital statistics, but it's your birth certificate, it's your marriage records, it's a divorce records, it's a birth records, it's a death records, driver's license, school records. All of those things are vital statistics, and all of those things are very, very important. So it's a beginning and a baby step, but it fulfills your life. It gives you a sense of purpose, and if you feel that you're part of a bigger picture, and um, our families love us, and I've experienced what you're talking about several times. Um, and without sharing them all with you, I just want to say I understand very much so, and keep the journey going. Whatever we can do to help you, we will be happy to do so. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tiffany. Turn me down, Dad. Thank you so much for joining us. This is just the first in a series of genealogy stories we're going to do. And I just wanted to kick it off with you because I was so inspired by your story. So again, thank you for joining us. And I'm glad people tuned in. I want people to come in and ask questions. We're going to have a genealogy conference coming up in February, which we do every year.
I'll
But
be there.
this is a way to be hands on and to understand these stories because every story is individual, every story is unique, everyone's story is important. So we thank you for coming. Clayborn, we'll give you an opportunity to share your story. Maybe I'll interview you one day. But I thank everyone for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.